Since its earliest days, the Portal line has been plagued by one major question: why? Given Amazon and Google's relative head starts in both the smart assistant and display sectors, the question isn't so much why did Facebook develop it as why should consumers be interested? Portal's original highlight feature, in addition to its interaction with Facebook services, was smart panning, which employed object detection to reframe its topics. It was a nice touch, but it wasn't enough to convince us to buy a Facebook-made product over the competition. Since then, Google, Amazon, and even Apple have released their own versions of the technology, eroding Facebook's competitive advantage. In this video, we are going to review the Facebook Portal Go. Please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button and notification bell so you do not miss any of our new videos. The Go's portability and flexibility. While the Portal Go doesn't answer the bigger issue of why, it does demonstrate Facebook's ability to think outside the smart screen box by including mobility. To be honest, it's one of those things that the competition, strangely, hasn't embraced. The Tap, Amazon's portable Bluetooth speaker, was discontinued some time ago. For a similar portable solution, you'd have to go to an Alexa-enabled Fire tablet or third-party gadgets. Otherwise, the Amazon and Google approach has succeeded in persuading people to simply place a device in each location where it would be used. Personally, I've always wondered why they haven't embraced the adaptability of a cloud-based system. The Go was designed with mobility in mind, right down to the built-in grip on the device's back. It's only 3 pounds, so it's not too heavy, compared to, say, the 4.7-pound MacBook Pro that Apple just launched. Does anyone need a portable smart screen? No one needs a smart screen in the first place, but there's a lot to be said about flexibility. It's actually nice to be able to pick up and carry a gadget that's primarily geared for video. A built-in battery and wireless charging are key to this. The latter uses a 3-pin charging pad with a USB-C connector on the other end. The charger is probably my greatest gripe with this product's design. It's understandable why Facebook chose not to go hardwired here, allowing you to pick it up and go without having to disconnect it. However, a cable charging option would have been nice to have, allowing you to charge the battery more quickly. At the absolute least, a charging pad that snaps into place magnetically would be fantastic, because aligning the pins to charge the device is a hassle. The screen is a 10-inch touchscreen with a resolution of 1280 by 800 pixels. There's nothing spectacular about it, but it'll suffice for the great majority of your needs on this device, from teleconferencing to watching bite-sized videos on Facebook. A 12-pixel front-facing camera and a 4-mic array are also included. Again, this won't replace the teleconference system you bought when the world went to hell and all meetings became virtual, but it'll suffice for phoning relatives or taking the occasional business meeting. 2 rear-facing speakers and a woofer are housed in the device's fabric-covered back. The sound quality isn't the best. It's a little distorted. It's not something I'd listen to on a regular basis, but it'll do in a pinch. The device is larger than the majority of smart screens. It has rounded sides and a large bezel, and it's covered in a fabric that's becoming typical for household items these days. In fact, the design resembles a combination between an Echo or Nest-style home device and a toy for children. The latter gives it a type of toughness you'd expect from a portable device. It's not exactly tough, but it should be able to withstand the odd knocks and bumps better than, say, the Nest Home. Because of this, as well as some of the content featured, the Go may be more suited to a setting with younger children than most. The front-facing camera has a hardware shutter that slips over it. If you're anything like me, you'll have it on for 90% of the time, basically whenever I'm not on the phone. The microphone isn't disabled by this, but a circular button next to the volume buttons does this. The camera and microphone will be turned off when you click that, as shown by a red light. There are shared storybooks, which are ideal for grandparents who want to keep in touch with their grandchildren from afar. The Facebook Messenger's app filter choices are adequate. They put on goofy hats and distort your voice now and again, but they're not particularly focused on, say, smoothing out perceived imperfections, for better or worse. I noticed the quality of these suffered a little bit on slower Wi-Fi, and the same was true for Facebook Watch videos. There was a latency in some situations, which ruined the impression a little. Aside from Facebook, the app choices are restricted. For music streaming, you've got Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, and Pandora, which are all excellent options. The Go is a Bluetooth speaker with a built-in display that may be used as a portable speaker. I found myself shutting off the camera, moving it into the bedroom, and listening to music on the touchscreen with Spotify. On the teleconferencing front, you have some good choices, including Zoom, WebEx, and BlueJeans. It's not a comprehensive list, but it should cover the majority of work meetings. It does a good job with them, and that, paired with mobility, is arguably the most compelling use case of all. Although third-party teleconferencing applications are compatible with all of the top smart displays, it's wonderful to be able to move it about and not have to worry about finding an outlet if you don't want to be stuck at your desk all day. Aside from that, the app selection, once again, is limited. There are a few news and cooking apps, as well as browser shortcuts to popular third-party services like YouTube. If you want to watch Netflix, for example, you may go on the site on your browser and view it there. In the end, a lot of it boils down to that. If you're all about Facebook applications and all the hassle that may entail, one of these is most likely the device for you. There really isn't any direct competition for the Go in terms of portability right now. The product doesn't answer the big concerns about the Portal's line being why, but it does explain the where. Around the world. When Facebook went black earlier this year, I rapidly realized which of my friends and family members have friends and relatives in other countries. More than 3.5 billion people use Facebook and its applications throughout the world, particularly in nations like the Philippines, where some of my family friends are from, and where Nobel Prize winner Maria Ressa is combating misinformation on the platform. At this point, debating whether or not to use Facebook is akin to debating whether or not to have access to the grid. Even if a company's business methods are exceedingly dubious, it can nonetheless supply crucial infrastructure. Facebook is the internet in many locations. All of this is a roundabout way of saying that I use Facebook as little as possible. Yet I do, and this has aided the Portal Go's smooth integration into my life. The Portal began as a standalone video chat/digital photo frame, but Facebook has rapidly increased its capabilities. You may link your Spotify, Deezer, or Pandora account, upload your calendars to a dedicated app, or search a browser in addition to Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and Zoom. It also has Alexa built in, but you can also use built-in voice commands to communicate directly with the Portal. Because I am wary about smart speakers in general, I used to keep the original Portal unplugged in a drawer until I needed to make a call. The Portal Go, on the other hand, is far more useful. I can keep it on my desk to check the weather, to see my day on the calendar, and instantly log into Zoom, where the Portal's smart cameras make me look relaxed and pretty nice. It serves as a digital photo frame, reminding me of past vacations, and my parents, who live halfway across the nation, can read a few stories to the kids while I prepare supper. If you don't already have a camera with smart panning, it's hard to overstate just how much more relaxed you can be when you're not worried about accidentally giving yourself a double chin, lighting yourself poorly, or falling out of frame. Virtual reality, analog connection. Most of the clever features that made the Portal so enticing to me earlier are still present with the Portal Go. The clever camera pans and widens to capture everyone in the frame, but it's not as much required now because it's simpler to move than before. My parents can still understand everyone who is talking because of the smart sound, which picks up voices and reduces background noise, even when the house is otherwise in chaos. The fan running in the kitchen as my wife cooks, our dog barking, and the kids clamoring to be heard over one another. The AR masks are as equally entertaining, and Facebook has updated the Storytime app with new books. But one of my major gripes with Storytime is the lack of new content. My children love books and having someone read to them, and they can easily read 3 stories in one sitting. Facebook posts some new stories on a regular basis, but in my opinion, it needs a dedicated crew to post about a half dozen tales every week. It would be great to have a wider selection of content. A physical button or a manual shutter can be used to switch off the camera and microphone. Because it has Alexa built in, your kids can use the Portal to contact 911 if you become incapacitated, which could be a useful feature, God forbid. There's also a nice View Together option that allows you to watch a movie or show with someone who is thousands of miles away at the same time. But this is more beneficial for a larger screen, such as a Portal TV. If you want to use the Portal in a public area of your home, you may establish a household profile to lock down your personal calendar and other applications. This is essential if your children routinely make unsupervised calls to your family, so they don't start a Zoom call with your boss. Because I kept the Go on my desk in my workplace, I didn't really utilize this. Facebook is well aware of its actions. Its hardware is typically appealing and functional, whether it's converting snaps into Instagram stories or manufacturing dangerously easy-to-wear smart glasses. The business also created the Portal Plus, a bigger and more powerful desktop version. But the memory of my daughter having an intimate moment with her grandparents thousands of miles away will stay with me. The billions of individuals who use Facebook throughout the world aren't doing it by accident. We utilize it because it improves our lives, regardless of how dubious the firm is.